The blue-white scrimmage is in the books, and it's time for us to watch it back together.
This is Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Sunday, October 5th, 2025. Welcome into this live edition of the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining us at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Special shout out to all the everydayers here with us, all the great members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course, our insiders as well. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Man, it's going to be a fun show today. We're just trying this out, right? Usually after games, we can't put up the footage or do anything like that. But one of the things YouTube allows you to do is have free use, fair use rights if you're offering your own commentary on a video. So that's what Coach Rob and I are going to do. This man, by the way, if you're unfamiliar, which you should be because you're always locked into the show, is our guy, Coach Bill Robinson, the head coach of the Milligan University Buffaloes, a 2-decade veteran of Carolina Basketball School, Carolina Summer Camp. He's got a book all about it. You should check it out, Carolina Basketball School, History, Stories, and Drills. You can find it at Alumni Hall or Amazon or get it from Coach directly himself. So here's what's going to happen today. We're going to just watch, for those of you watching on YouTube, we're going to put the game in here. Coach and I'll go off to the side, and we're just going to let it rip and provide commentary as we go about what we're seeing, what we're not seeing, all of that. I'm on Monday's show going to provide more of a takeaways from this thing. So this is more like live commentary in real time, like you're watching a movie with the director's cut or something like that is what Coach and I are going to do. Also, there's already some comments coming in the chat. Go ahead and drop your comments in, and we'll bring some of those in and along as we're going. In fact, we've already got one from Todd that says, Coach Rob, I got the book and I love it. Thanks for writing it. So Todd, man, great comment, and Coach, very well done. Thank you for providing us all with that. All right, let's just say a couple things before we get going here, Coach. The team breakdowns, the blue team was Zayden Hyde, Jaron Stevenson, James Brown, Seth Trimble, Luka Bogavac, Evan Smith, coached by Brad Frederick and Pat Sullivan. The white team, Caleb Wilson, Henri Veesaar, Kyan Evans, Jaden Young, Jonathan Powell, Elijah Davis, and John Holbrook, coached by Jeff Lebo and Marcus Page. Per UNC, there were 3 guys that didn't play for various reasons. Derek Dixon was out with a lower body injury. Ivan Matlakovich out also with a lower body injury, and Isaiah Dennis with an upper body injury. And so, Coach, I think probably the biggest bummer in this whole thing for me is I was really excited to see Derek Dixon kind of run the show for the other team, and we didn't get to see that, Coach. That's a bummer, right?
Yeah, that was my big thing too, because he played so well the day we were there for practice, and he looked great. And I want to see, he and Kyan Evans go at it in an open gym like this. Just really get to see them when the lights are on. So that was very disappointing.
And it also means that then Seth has to do that and not be freed up to do all the things that he does so well. So the setup of the game, if you're not aware, was 2 12-minute halves. Ultimately, spoiler alert, but whatever, you should already know this. The white team ends up winning 55-50. It's not even really about that. It's really just about seeing the guys in action and what they do. Coach, that said, even before we start watching, what are the kind of things that it's like, hey, don't read too much into this, or these are when you're watching a scrimmage, you know what I mean? Like what are the things that we can't take away and what shouldn't we take away?
Yeah, from a coaching's perspective, they know this is going to be on YouTube. They know that there's people there. There's probably some unfriendlies that are in the building as well, trying to get a glimpse of the team. They didn't run anything specific. They ran basically the same type of reads and continuity type of offense. There's nothing complicated in what they did. They were just out there playing off of it. They did do some different ways of defending ball screens, which is good to see that they didn't just go out there and just run around. They were playing and they were trying to make plays. But from an offensive perspective and a defensive perspective, they kept it as simple as possible, knowing you never know who's going to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other biggest thing is you want to stay away from injuries. Obviously, remember last year, RJ took that really hard foul and then ultimately missed the Memphis game. I know Seth kind of took a hard fall in this thing, but it sounds like everybody should be good to go. And that's ultimately the biggest win with all of this. And some people have asked, like Jeffrey Pauly asks, any news on Luka's eligibility? No, not yet. Outside of what we talked about last week, we have kind of transitioned to Luka being designated as a junior, which, again, I'll just promote. If you've been with us all summer, Coach let us know that that's what the staff was hoping back on May 31st. We've known that since May 31st, and so we've been tracking with that here on the show. But no, in terms of his actual eligibility, there's no news yet. So let's say that. But because this is just like an inter-squad thing, he is able to go ahead and play. Coach, unless there's anything else you think would be good and appropriate to say before we get rolling, we'll go ahead and start the footage.
I think the other cool thing, I just want to mention real quick, is everybody scored. We talked about, having some of the bench guys come in and play, but according to my calculations, everybody who played scored at least a bucket. So that was exciting for me to see some of those guys who were not going to play a whole lot.
Man, that's a good word, getting everybody in there. So we'll start this up. Coach and I are just going to provide commentary again. You'll hear the sounds of the game, but there's no running commentary. And we should say big shouts to everybody that put footage out on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. This specific one is coming from TarHeel247, from Andrew Jones and that crew. And so that's the one we've grabbed to use because it's the full game. We'll stop a couple times to pause it, or Coach might have us run something back, or we'll have a couple of ad reads to say thanks to the sponsors and all that good stuff. All right, Coach, without much further ado, here we go. All right. So for those of you who might be listening back to this later, we're going to try to put it on the audio. We don't know if that'll translate well, but we'll see with that. I know that is a little bit loud. All right. Jump ball, Coach. White has it. We've got Kine Evans with the ball right out of the gate here. What are you watching for just at the beginning of a moment like this?
Yeah, you're seeing how intense they play defensively right away. You want to see that intensity on the rebounding on the glass as well. You get to see a tip in there by Henry. So they're getting after it right away, which is something you want to see. They got a big crowd, and it's a Saturday. It's just kind of that off day usually. So it's awesome to see them going after each other early.
There you go. Jaron Stevenson trying to get a pocket pass into James Brown, throws it off his feet. James tries to go up and is ultimately fouled by Henry. So we're going to go to the free throw line and take a couple free throws there. Coach, I'm right with you. I love the aggressiveness right out of the gate, right? Like, it's people are here. They're frustrated because Carolina just got blitzed by Clemson down in Keenan, and so we want to see what happens. James knocks down that first free throw for the first points of the game there. And so we saw Seth Trimble gonna handle things for the blue team in terms of being the main ball handler. Another nice free throw there from James Brown. Coach, what are you looking to see from Seth there?
He seemed to defer early in the game. I think he embraced his role as a point guard and tried to get everybody involved. He didn't really get aggressive with the basketball until second half, but he did. He wanted to get everybody involved and pitch the ball. He wanted to set the tempo, and I think he did both of those things really well. Again, in a game that doesn't really matter, for him to get his teammates involved, I think was very smart of him.
And I gave us the rosters for each team, but I didn't set the starters. Let's do that now. You see, for the white team, we've got Zayden High, number 1, Jaron Stevenson, James Brown, Seth Trimble, and Luka Bogavac. That was the blue team. Blue team, Zayden, Jaron, James, Seth, and Luka. For the white team, starting Caleb Wilson, who you just saw that mid-range jumper from, Henri Veesaar, Kine Evans, Jaden Young, and Jonathan Powell, the West Virginia transfer. So, Coach, a little bit of a settle there back on that previous possession from Caleb Wilson in the mid-range. I got a little three. Was that, yes, coming from Jaden Young there on the wing. Coach, I know there's been a lot. I'm just going to skip over what I just said about Caleb Wilson. A lot about Jaden Young just kind of being a bit part. We see that three right there out of the gate. Felt like he showed a few things. Is that hey, look, it's just a scrimmage, or do you think maybe there is more that he can offer than perhaps we've thought?
I think he could be an end of rotation type guy, especially if he shoots it well. I do think he's one of those guys, if he makes his first shot like that, he'll earn more minutes per game. But I think it's going to be a night-to-night basis. I don't think it's something that's going to change, overnight for him. I think it's going to be something I'll keep working on.
All right, Coach, you see Luka take that quick trigger three from the corner there. That's one of the things I think we noticed throughout the game, man. Luka is going to pull and not hesitate, and he's ready to go. You like that from your man from Montenegro?
That's why he's here. He's here to make threes. He's here to make shots. And one of my former assistant, Alex Biggerstaff, was there. And, he said, he may not be Brady Manick when it comes to the size and the defense, but he can definitely shoot it like that. So I like to hear that. I wanted to hear that. And he does. He's got a quick trigger. He's obviously doesn't shy away from the stage, and he can make shots. He can make tough shots.
And then we see a Jonathan Powell three on the other end from the wing there. That's Caleb missing the bunny. Oh, man, that's embarrassing. Now, Coach, here's the other thing. And Cole M just asked about this. He said, was wondering if Coach Rob is looking deep into the early turnovers, or is it just part of a new team? We saw back-to-back turnovers from Luka there. Trying to go behind his back in transition, and then the kick out from the baseline, Coach, both of those going into turnovers. And so as Cole asks, is that something you're concerned about? Is you're like, look, it's a scrimmage game, whatever?
I'll be honest. I'm a little concerned. Obviously, you're going to turn the ball over. I saw Caleb's interview after the game, and he said, it's just chemistry stuff. But when you get in the air and get off balance and make throws that you don't know where it's going when you jump, those are just bad plays. I don't care what time of year it is. That could be in pickup, middle of summer. That's just not a good play. And it did get sloppy. I think we have a stretch here coming up where I think there's a back-to-back-to-back turnover sequence. It just doesn't look good. And so I'm a little concerned about that.
Okay, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Obviously, when you're missing Derek Dixon, that's going to be part of this as well. We expect him to be able to do that. Nice finish there from Caleb in the lane, by the way, coming to the rim. Coach, when we talk about Caleb Wilson, this is a young man who, you look at him, he's a little bit on the slender side, but, you can tell he's kind of bulked up already since he's gotten there. It's a nice finish in the lane, a good-looking free throw shot. What are you seeing from him early?
He may be on, slender on the physical side, but he's not on the mental side. He wants physical contact. He wants to play hard. He can take a hit. He can give a hit. I'm not really worried about his size right now because he's got that mentality. He's ready to go in there and fight the whole time. Great foul there by Seth. That's one of those first half. He actually did show some aggression. So I don't think he scores another bucket if I have my stats right in the first half. Maybe one more, but that's just one real. Just seeing him go after and get those rebounds. That's part of it too. And there's Henry's great play. Yeah,
we'll talk about Henry's dunk there in a second. Coach, what I like from Seth there, and we saw this a lot last year, got into that mid-range, had that little floater. It didn't fall, but that second bounce from him is so quick, and he just put it right back up. Is that where his elite athleticism can really be a game changer?
Yeah, and you tell guys all the time to get back on defense, but in a situation like that, when he knows where it's going, for him to go get it, I think is the best play out there. So he knows which way he's going to go. He knows where he missed it, and for him to go follow it up is an awesome play. We saw a couple great plays there while we're talking too. With Zayden hit a three on a kind of a pick and pop, and then that fadeaway.
I'm going to scroll back and let's get those again because I don't want to look past them. There's Zayden's three on a nice kick out from Seth. That's part of that. Go ahead.
And part of that I like is that now you can't double that guard or you can't help off that penetration as much because Zayden can shoot that. He can make that shot. You don't necessarily want him to shoot a whole bunch of contested threes, but if he has his feet set at the line, he can make threes. And I think that's a huge weapon for him.
And that's one of the things about all the bigs on this team, Coach, is he can step out and do it. Caleb can, Henry can, and that's just a different dynamic than we're used to with Carolina bigs.
Yeah, Jaren can as well.
And Jaren, great word. Yeah. Thank you there. And then we just saw that baseline fadeaway from Caleb go down, showing a little bit of the depth of his bag right there, Coach.
Yeah, no, when you start making shots like that, you're talking. It's not a 6 or 8 foot fadeaway. That's an 18-foot fadeaway over a defender, and he's just so talented. He's going to be able to get a shot off whenever he wants to.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And that's going to be part of his freshman progression, Coach, is deciding when is knowing the right time to take what shots when, and obviously the staff will be working with him on that. Kind of a little wild shot from Henry there in the lane. Coach, this is one of the big questions we've talked about is who backs up Henry at the 5, and a lot of that thought, there's Luka from 3 from the good night. That is smooth, Coach. Is the conversation about Zayden versus James Brown as the backup 5 potentially? And Cole asks, if Zayden can knock down his open 3 looks, do you, Coach Rob, think he will have the edge over James Brown in terms? I'm assuming with backup minutes there.
Yeah, I don't think James is ready yet. he's put on great weight. Obviously, he looks like a different player. I mean, I think I had him down for 7 points, so he did some good things. I still don't think he's ready, and I think Zayden, with experience, with the time off he has, he's hungry. He's probably just itching to play right now, and I think it's time for him to get an opportunity, probably over James Brown, in my opinion, from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, no, that's a good word. Coach, we're at our first kind of break here. Anything kind of that we haven't gotten to yet in those first couple possessions and minutes that you're noticing you want to hit on?
I think the big thing for me is just going through how many points everybody scored. I think they are who we thought they are. I know that's a kind of a funny statement. We've talked a little bit about that, but I don't think there were any super big surprises, and I don't think anybody was disappointing. I think the guys that need to step up and play major minutes played well and did the things that we know that they can do. And the guys who are not necessarily going to be great contributors, I think they were solid too. I don't think there were anybody that was just didn't play well. But it was just more confirmation for me of what we already thought we knew.
That's a good word. While we've got a break here, Coach, I'm going to go ahead and take our first ad read. It's like the picture-in-picture we get these days on sporting events while we're waiting for the action to get back going. Hey, I want to tell you guys that this episode is brought to you by Peloton, who is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton cross-training tread, plus powered by Peloton IQ. It's the most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. I'm going to pause the game while I'm reading this because they're about to start back up. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, and corrects your form, making every rep safer and smarter. And the personalized class recommendations keep you engaged. You get workouts tailored to your vibe and energy level every week. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward, and explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. All right, Coach, we're getting back into the action here. Kai and Evan's going to take it out on their side of the floor under the basket here. A little kick out to the top for Henry, that traditional Carolina blob play that we get, just the pass around the rim. Henry with it out top here. Coach, as we get back to the action, a little foul, pause in the action here. All right, down in front. Come on, what are we doing here? All right, we're going to restart here on this blob, Coach. What are you looking for? And we talk about just the scrimmage nature. We're not really running much, but what are you looking for on things like blobs? Just in case folks aren't familiar with that term, baseline out of bounds play is a blob. Are you trying to run any sets or just like, hey, just get it in and let's play?
Right now, they're just getting it in. They're not showing anything. That's just hey, let's get the ball in and start playing again. So
nice
I wouldn't expect anything special. They'll have stuff. They're going to try to find ways to make, to get it. It's like stealing points. If you can score off an out of bounds play, you just don't want to turn it over. The goal is to get the ball in bounds always. But here, nice little cut by Elijah. It's always good to see him score a bucket in a game like this. But great slip, great pass, and he knew what to do with it. So
and that headband, man, he looks good.
Yeah, he looks terrible in that, and I'll tell him that. But I don't think it just doesn't look good with a headband anymore. But I'm glad to see him. He actually took a three later on here too. He seemed much more comfortable being on the floor. So, little Kai and Evans gets his hands in the cookie jar there and gets a foul. Probably shouldn't have. With you got a shot blocker behind him, just go let him go get it. You don't need to try to strip him.
And Henry did, good penetration from Luka. Love to see him not settling all the time to get it to James. And Henry's there. He blocks the shot. Coach, is that a matter of, hey, we're still learning each other, right? It's early in the season. We've still got a month till our first regular season game. And Kine will pick up on those things as he remembers, oh, I've got a 7-foot Estonian dude standing behind me.
Yeah, I had a teammate like that too, where I get stuck in the post as a little guard, and I end up fouling a kid because I don't want to give him a layup, and the guy behind me is ready to block his shot, and he's like, just stay there, just let me go get it. And I think that's the same advice you give the guy in there. Hey, just let me go get it, and he did, and it's just a cheap foul. But free throw shooting was good first half too. I thought it was really good. There's one of those turnovers I don't like.
Yeah.
One hand pass cross court.
Yep.
There's no real sequence of what's going on. We just kind of threw the ball away. So That's the kind of one I just don't. It doesn't matter who we're playing or how long we've been playing. That's just a bad pass.
I'm just glad the cheerleader's okay, Coach. She almost got drilled in the noggin.
You got to be ready. You're going to sit that close. You got to be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, James trying to dribble. Not a wise choice up there at the free throw line. Kine running the break to Elijah on the wing. Rims out. Zayden High going to rip and run up to the wing. Luka on the corner on the wing three. Well short. Nice little put.
Evan making a great play.
Yeah. Hey, right place, right time for Evan, going right back up with it. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, and we talk about the passes being the right, throwing a strike when the guys and get him in his rhythm and catching it right where he wants to do. Zayden didn't make a great pass there to Luka. Luka's still going to shoot it, but if he catches that in rhythm and catches a strike, he's much more likely to make that shot.
Yeah, because then he doesn't have to reset and rethink. That's going to be
John Holbrook wearing the black sneakers, old school.
Absolutely love to see that. All right, I got a quick stop in the action for a sub. Jaron Stevenson coming in there for Seth. Is Seth going out? Yes, it looks like. Coach, that last possession we had Caleb Wilson kind of distributing a little bit. John dribbles off his foot going the other way. I expect, especially with Derek not out there, with Seth running things, I think we're going to see Caleb with the ball in his hands quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think it necessarily has to be a point forward type, position. I think it's more, hey, he's really, really good. Let's put the ball in his hands and just let him make decisions. So I don't think it's necessarily a positional thing. I think it's just a philosophy thing. Let's go get it.
Nice
Give it
finish.
to him. Let it make some decisions.
Nice finish from Henry there. Coach, on that previous possession, saw a really confident move from Zayden High using the rim as a protector to keep Henry away from and finished it smoothly on the other side. He's hit a three, that nice layup. Some good things. Henry getting a little just push shot in the lane on the other end. Kick out to Jonathan Powell on the wing. That's the shot you want to take there. Just doesn't fall.
Yep. No, I think Zayden's probably gotten used to playing against him in practice every day. And I think he's figuring out how to make those shots and create stuff without getting a shot block. So, yeah, that looked really smooth, looked very confident, and looked like he'd been playing against him for a little while.
Yeah. See Jaron go finish there in transition. Nice stuff from there. Seth coming in for Luka. No, Luka staying out. Somebody else is about to come. Nope, it is Luka coming out. There we go. Coach, while we got a second, Melinda Dolphin asks, I understand privacy, but could you tell us anything about Pat Kilby? Is he okay? I miss him. Yes, I realize I've been forgetting to update everyone. You guys, Pat's life has just gotten wildly busy. Just a lot going on with his boys getting a little bit older. They are foster parents. Another nice finish from Evan Smith there, getting a little bit older, and his own coaching life getting busier. And so there's just a lot going on. So he's actually had to step away, not even just intermittently, but he said, it's best for me to just step away right now. And so that's what that is. I've been trying you guys to convince him to come on for one more episode so that we can, kind of give him his flowers and shout him out. But man, Pac is a good man, and we'll miss him, and just a good, wise family decision for him. Tying with a turnover there, out of bounds looking. I missed who it was on the baseline there.
That's what's great about having the empty nest is I got time for anything now. So,
That's right.
Except for my grandbaby, and they all headed to Disney today. So I'm stuck up here having to practice. But we all miss Pac. We love Pac. He's a great dude.
Really is. Nice little pocket pass from Evan to James. Just can't finish. Jonathan Powell with the rebound. Going to kick it ahead to Kyan. Forward to, it looked like Caleb on the wing. Back to Kyan. Henry with the top of the. Oh, man.
I love that so much.
Coach, why was that possession as beautiful as it was? What just happened?
Well, he got just rebound and outlet and just that trail spot and the ability to push the ball up the floor, get the defense back on their heels a little bit. And he's got that ability to knock down that jumper. I love it. And he's going to get more and more aggressive with it. I don't like him putting the ball on the floor if he doesn't have that opportunity.
Right. That's
so,
yeah, that's so true, Coach. And you just think about the spacing of him being out there. We've talked about this a lot, but I mean, just the driving lanes that it's going to allow for everybody.
Yep.
With that going, man, really good stuff.
Hey, real quick about Evan Smith. We played against him when he was on the JV. He's improved a ton. And I'm not saying he's going to get minutes. I'm not going to say anything, but he'd be a really solid guard in our league. Maybe, a very good guard in our league. So it's great to see him play so well in this thing.
Are you trying to recruit Evan to come play for
Absolutely.
Milligan?
We have no NIL money, but we've got a great cafeteria. So come on.
I absolutely love it. Coach, while we're paused here, Charles asks, Coach Rob, why is JQB, I'm assuming that means James Brown, not ready in your opinion? I was impressed with his aggressiveness and going after rebounds with two hands. Coach, what's your response to Charles?
Yeah, it's still some decision-making and his ability just to finish around the rim. That last little he had a little floater in the lane. And if you're talking about minutes, he's going to have to, in just my opinion, again, I'm not the coach, but he's going to have to pass Jaren if they want to go smaller. He's got to pass Zayden, and I think both of those guys are a little bit ahead of him. Jaren doesn't do much in this scrimmage. I thought Zayden played well. So, and just in my opinion, he's got to get in front of one of those two guys.
Yeah, and I mean,
I don't think he's far away. Don't get me wrong. I think he's
not
improved
at all.
a ton, and his body has changed so much that he's going to be able to battle differently than he would have last year.
And it's interesting because and the schedule helps that as well, Coach. We've talked about how many more bye games there are this year. Hopefully that's going to give some opportunities for James and other guys to prove something, not just playing against each other like this. Coach Jeffrey Polly asks, is Kyan a little too passive?
I think Kyan's exactly what they want him to be.
Okay.
I don't think he needs to be super aggressive. I think he'll get aggressive in those times later in the games or later in the season when they need him to step up. He has the ability to make shots. He has the ability to penetrate. I think right now, and especially a game like this, they didn't really need him. When he's playing with Henry and he's playing with Caleb, he needs to go ahead and distribute and get those guys involved first. I think that's what he did.
Coach, one of the a lot of people have feared, like, with Kyan, like he's not a traditional point guard, but this little run out we just saw, I think I went back a little bit too far, shows just like the dynamism that he brings and what some of the other guys could do that, Armando Bacot couldn't do. So Henri Veesaar gets this rebound, runs the break. Zayden trying to dribble too much, gets into trouble there. Henry gets the rebound, runs the break. Out to Caleb on the wing, and then Kyan back towards the top of the wing, just buries it. I mean, that's a shot you want all day long in transition. Coach, it's an inverted whole thing. You got Henry running the break, Kyan finishing it off. Are we going to see some of that this year? Or like in a real game, would you be mad at Henry for bringing that up?
That's the new world, isn't it? That the whole thing has been flipped upside down compared to what you used to try to get as many 2-footers than 20-footers, and now you want more 20-footers and 2-footers. So, no, I love it. You don't want Henry dribbling the ball too much. He made a great decision. Didn't let the defense get too close to him, and obviously Kyan can score.
Yeah.
But in a game like this, he's playing with three guys. According to my stats are obviously very unofficial, but Caleb had double figures. Jonathan had double figures and Henry had double figures, and Kyan still had 9. So you're playing with three guys in a 24-minute game. That's pretty impressive. He still had 9 points, even those other three guys are all in double figures. So I don't think he was necessarily too unselfish, but he definitely can score.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Luka, one of the reasons Jonathan Powell's going to get some points here is because Luka just threw it right to him. Yeah. Powell goes the other way into the teeth of it, gets fouled and goes to the free throw line and made 1 of 2. Zayden with the board, and here comes Seth bringing it up the other way, defended by Kyan, back to Zayden on the top, over to Jaren Stevenson driving baseline on. It looks like Jonathan, a little dig from Caleb Wilson, and Jaren's going to try to finish in the paint. Nice little finish over the top there. Obviously had some size on Jonathan Powell. Coach, I know you said earlier Jaren didn't necessarily do a ton in this, but again, I mean, there's every game, there's going to be guys who don't do things. Or were you, like what is your takeaway from that? Like, does Jaren need to do more? Or is it just like he's just out there being part of the flow and it didn't come to him a ton, and so he didn't do a ton?
I think part of it is he played with Luka and Seth, and they got a ton of shots. I think probably the two of them had more shots combined than the rest of their blue team. I don't think Jaren, he's been there, done that, so he's probably the least guy excited about this. Now, he might be excited about being a Tar Heel and be there, but he's played in big games. He's played in big arenas. I don't think this was something that got him super excited, Jack, today. You know, where, I think Evan Smith was super jacked to be able to play in front of that crowd and play as many minutes as he did. It's just different motivation for him today or yesterday. So I think it's just different. And he just didn't get a ton of shots, but he'll do all the little things. I still think he's that glue guy that they just need to do and play multiple positions. And when the shots come, he'll make them. And he's going to miss this one because I said that.
Henry only made 68.6% of his free throws last year. Those 2 free throws he just shot looked great. Yeah. Nice fluid release, good arc on the ball, feathered through the net. I mean, that's not a 68% free throw shooter, what I just saw.
I don't think he had a ton of attempts. I'm trying to remember how many attempts he did have. He's going to get a whole lot more attempps this year than he did last year, and that will lend itself to better free throw shooting.
72 of 105 last year.
Yeah, he'll take more than that this year.
Coach Melinda wants to know, who are you seeing is playing the best defense? And obviously, look, scrimmages are often defense optional, like an all-star game. See Luka burying a 3 from the right wing there, Coach. But in terms of, some people are going to try to lock in moments like this. Who's impressing you?
Yeah, it's always Seth. Seth always sets the tone, and just the little things. I'd like to see him fight through ball screens and things like that. That's a late half shot there. That's why don't make too much of that shot. But it's the Jonathan Powells and the Jaden Youngs. Those are the guys I think they're trying to prove themselves. No matter when the game is being played, it can be played at midnight, and no coaches around. Those 2 guys are, I think, really still trying to prove themselves worthy. So I look to see the 2 of them really get down and defend in this game.
All right, we're at halftime right now. I'm going to pause it because the video goes straight back into the second half, and we're going to get our next ad read coming to us from Square. You need to know that your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. Y'all, there are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. What does supporting a community look like? Spending money there doesn't just support the business, it supports the people behind it and the community around it. Those local spots are what make the neighborhood feel like home, and so many of them run on Square. How about like Hawthorne and Wood right there in the Chapel Hill area? Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses all around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more, but before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. This episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. When you use FanDuel, parlays, player props, even jumping in on the action live, it makes watching football even more exciting since you got a little something extra riding on the action. So whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. How about some ACC regular season championship odds already out from FanDuel? Unfortunately, Duke leads the way at plus 155. Followed by Louisville at plus 220, then Carolina at plus 700, followed by the Wolfpack at plus 750. If you want to get in on that action, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and go ahead and get started. All right, Coach, we are about to get into the second half here. Just any kind of big picture takeaways from the first half for you before we start getting back into the action?
I just loved how competitive it was. And again, it's a scrimmage, and there's a bunch of people in there, but the guys really do act like they care, and they're trying to play the very best basketball they can. It sounds simple, but there's not a whole lot of horsing around. There's a lot of competitiveness. Even on the missed dunk, there's your point of where the guys are not trying to hurt each other in a breakaway. In a game situation, they may try to chase him down there, and maybe Caleb missed it because he was expecting somebody to be around him. I don't know. But I do like just the serious nature of it, how they really went out there, and even the fouling here at the end when we get to it. They're trying to win this game, and it's important. So, and that's why the scoreboard's on. If they're not trying to win, then they shouldn't turn it on at all.
Well, and I feel like everyone that's done an interview or media availability has talked about how competitive this team is, down to a man, right? Not just like, hey, we as a team are competitive. It's like everybody's competitive and wants to win. And we're seeing that play out today. I know we'll see that play out again at the Cherokee scrimmage here in a couple weeks, which I just found out my parents bought tickets. So if anybody's going to the Cherokee scrimmage, you can meet Ma and Pa Schade down there on that Saturday. That'll be a lot of fun. So, Coach, let's get into the second half action. As we get going, Zayden up top, blue team now going the other way. That's Seth with the ball, excuse me. James Brown up top with it, out to Luka on the corner. Man, Coach, that's just some perimeter rotation of the ball, and Luka just cans it. Love to see him just doing it. That's what he does.
Yeah, and he gets rid of it so quick. He doesn't need any space. There's, again, Caleb's ability to get off the shot whenever he wants to with his size and length and his ability to create space. Just very impressive. Another turnover.
Yep.
The turnovers are going to be a big deal. You have to be able to take care of the basketball. You have to be able to get shots every time down the floor. And I think that was the biggest disappointment for me in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, Brandon McLean says, assuming we shore up the turnovers, we have so many more scoring options this year. And Coach, that's so clear and obvious, where the last 2 years, you've just relied, nice finish by Zayden, good look from the top there. You've relied so heavily on RJ Davis, where, man, I miss that dude like crazy. That tough little nut scored 12 for the Lakers the other day in a little game. But it's harder now for the opposition because they can't just say, let's guard RJ tough with some size and good luck to anybody else, Coach. It's more spread out now.
No, Brandon's got a great point. And what we talked about as a staff the other day, we talked about Carolina because that's what I talked about. If it's not talking about my team, we're talking about Carolina's team. Seth didn't see the best defender last year. RJ always saw the best defender. So now who's going to see their best defender? Is it going to be Seth? Is it going to be Jonathan Powell? Are they going to put their best defender on Luka? They almost have to put some length, some quickness on Luka. You're not going to put your best defender on Seth. That's the big question for me. I'm curious to see that when they get into conference play and people who their best defender is. I'm curious to see who really gets that best assignment, because it's really hard when you got guys who all score. Every one of them can score.
Yeah. And, that's a good point about the athleticism and length. You might put that defender on Luka because that's not his skill set, right? He's not uber athlete guy. He's just savvy YMCA veteran and is going to do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah. We're going to see a game, I think, where Luka hits, 7 or 8 threes. It may be a non-conference game, but when they really play tempo-wise, I could see him just getting his spot and then pitching the ball ahead or getting into the lane and kicking it back out to him. And he's going to have one of those games where he just goes nuts. And hopefully it's more than one. But I think he's got the ability to knock down a bunch of threes in a very short period of time.
As you talk, I'm pulling up the Carolina big record book because I want to look up most threes in a made game. I'll get back into that, Coach, when you have a nice long monologue or something. I want to go back to a nice little 15-footer from Seth there. I want to go back to what you said about Caleb Wilson being able to get his shot whenever he wanted to. Coach, what's the conversation with a freshman like that of, Caleb, you clearly can get nice defense from Jaren there front in the post. Caleb, you can get this shot anytime you want in the shot clock, so don't take it at 22. If we have to take that mid-range jumper that is low percentage, wait till we're down to like 5 set, right? Like, how's that conversation with him?
It's the good to great discussion. It's, just because you can get a shot off and you're going to shoot a good percentage, can we get something great, especially early in the possession, like you talked about. His ability to get it off doesn't necessarily mean it's a good shot for the team. That's a good opportunity. When he's running to the rim, that's great. Yes. But when everybody else is standing around watching and he's shooting 18-foot fadeaways with 20 seconds on the shot clock, he has to understand that's not necessarily a great shot. Even if he makes it, it's not necessarily a great shot. We want everybody to touch the ball. You want to get everybody involved. When everybody's involved, everybody will play defense. They don't necessarily have to get shots. They just have to get touches. So the more that you can share the basketball, the more motivation it is to defend at the other end.
All right, Coach, you talked long enough there that I was able to get it pulled up. Most three-pointers in a game is 8 by a Tar Heel, and it's happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different times. Most recently in 2004 by Rashad McCants against Clemson. Ray Felton did it, Shammond Williams, Jeff McInnes, Dante Calabria, and the head coach of the Tar Heels, Hubert Davis himself. Second most in a game. Interestingly, Coach, there's a bunch of dudes that hit 7. Most recently, RJ Davis at a game that you and I were at together, February 26th of 2024, when he set the Smith Center record for the most points in a game.
Yeah, that's a very memorable night. I could see him getting to 7 or 8. I really could. He just shoots it too well, and just, I mean, he's got that ability to do that.
Yeah.
There's another good shot.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, you talk about out of bounds plays too. They ran a little out of bounds play that was a little bit more aggressive with a back screen and then screen for the screener action for the 3 in the corner. That's more of the stuff you'll see in a regular season too. Everybody has a version of that. We have a box version of that, but that's great way to get a shot out of bounds.
Stevenson just came flying in.
Just flies around the gym. I love his energy.
That's what he's going to bring, man. That's so good, Coach.
Yep, and you won't have to throw it to him in the post. He's still going to play hard. Still going to do all the little things, even though he may not show it in the stats, but he'll do things to help you win basketball games.
That's right, because so much of I think we so often with players, and you and I talked about this, I think on our show just this last week or the week before, we so often think about the offensive side of things. Jaren, nice take by Kyan. Jaren is such a good defender. And not necessarily in the ways that show up always in the box score with blocks and steals, right? He's going to, as you said, the little things that are going to affect winning.
Yeah, and that's all he cares about. He just wants to win. It's not going to bother him one. They scored 2 points in this game, and he won't care as long as he's winning.
Luka coming off that curl just inside the free throw line, misses.
Not a great shot. I don't like that shot for him.
I don't either. But Holbrook running to the front of the rim. Way to go, John.
Yep, just playing hard. That's what he does.
Coach, we see Henry get that rebound. I think one of the other things about not a traditional big is Henri Veesaar is not going to be Armando Bacot, where he's going to come in and average a double-double rebounding. Rebounding is going to be a gang effort. We got a timeout here, so we'll just stop and talk for a little bit. And Coach, your dogs are clearly excited about the rebounding as well. When you think about that, can you help people temper expectations for Henry as a rebounder, but how Carolina collectively can do that?
Yeah, you don't need him to average double figures. And when you have Caleb Wilson, you have guys like Jaren Stevenson. Those guys are gonna gobble up stuff. One thing I noticed from Henry in this, he gets his hands on everything. He tips it to himself. He's been very aggressive. The bad thing with that is he'll get an over the back call every once in a while. He'll go through somebody to get that, but you don't want that aggressiveness to go away either. So you want him to continue to get after that, and those will add 2 or 3 extra possessions a game. That can help you win games. I mean, just so I think 7 or 8 rebounds per game for him would be exactly where they want him to be as a coaching staff, knowing that Caleb's going to get 8 or 9 in every game, and Jaren's going to average 5 or 6. And then you still have Jonathan Powell and some of those guards that will just rebounding's changed. It's now about who's quicker to the ball. And we've seen the quickness of Kyan Evans. We've seen the quickness of Seth. Those guys are still going to be able to get rebounds.
And that's where the superior size that Carolina has brought in this year helps. That's where the athleticism helps, because as you said, in this world where we take so many more threes, you don't just rebound in your little bubble and that's it. You got to go track it down, man, and you got to be able to get it. And that's what we're looking to see. As we get going here, we got an inbound for the blue team to Evan Smith. Seth handling out top. James Brown looking to set a screen there on Elijah. Oh, Elijah. Recover to Seth. Seth puts a little top of the key 3 down. Nice to see that there. Oh, and then Evan, the rip, he almost gets the dunk. It just rolls over the top. Little happy morning to you, rolling over the top. There we go. Henry with the ball up top. Now, Coach Cole says, Isaac, I want to know who you were impressed with the most. I want to kind of say this is kind of cheating maybe a little bit, but I love that the staff decided to not split Caleb Wilson and Henri Veesaar so we could see them together. This is a Carolina front court we did not see last year. And so I'm just to see the size, to see the length, to see it all go. Nice run ahead from Kyan. That's a great corner look. Man, I want that shot all the time. Good look there. But Coach, I think I'll just collectively say the front court. Nice finish there in transition from Luka, and now we got Kyan coming back the other way. Coach D'Artagnan says, I love this video. I would tune in if you all did this for some of the live games, maybe just radio or whatever's allowed. Yeah, we'd have to figure that out. Obviously, once we get into the season, Coach is going to have his own games he's got to be doing, but maybe there's some more of this type of thing we could do more regularly somehow, because it is a lot of fun, the energy of the live footage going. We got 6:15 left, so we're 3/4 of the way through at this point. And Jeffrey Polly says, going to do this after the Cherokee scrimmage. That's a great question, Jeffrey. We could, because that's another non-licensed thing that we could take the footage of. So that'll be on Saturday. I think it's like the 18th or something, and so we could definitely look to do that after that, Coach, if we could find time for it.
Yeah, we've got a community service day that Saturday with the team, but I could definitely do something later that evening or on Sunday. We've actually we're working the Bristol Breast Cancer Awareness Flamingo Walk that day.
Oh, nice.
So that would be really good for our guys. This is what I was talking about with Seth being much more aggressive second half. He's already hit a couple threes. Yep. He's looked to get more involved with the ball in his hands, and
nice 2-on-1. Yeah,
I would have liked to see him go back to Caleb there for a dunk.
Okay. Coach, I wondered the same thing. They obviously finish it. They get Luka moving. You want to see that ball cross back across the lane one more time, back to Caleb?
Caleb was getting his feet together. You could see he was looking for the lob. That could have been off the glass just as easily. It could have been a lob. But they got the bucket. That's all that really matters. Sure. But in a scrimmage like that, a little highlight would not have been a bad thing, I think.
Yeah. If your ball handler in that moment does not feel comfortable to remake the pass, even if it's a smart, like say Jonathan Powell's there, like, I don't know if I could, even if maybe I'm not a comfortable ooper and I don't know that I can throw this up without Luka getting his hands on it. Would you rather him finish or make the pass?
Yes, but if it's Caleb Wilson, you and I can make that pass because there's a huge spot where you could get it. He's going to go get it regardless. So I don't think you have to be a good passer to necessarily throw that up to him.
And honestly, there's no nice man. Luka just I love the aggressive. Just pull it because even if Caleb can't grab it and finish it, there's nobody else there, and he can go get it. There you go, Caleb on the putback emphatically. Yeah.
He's going to go get it.
Yeah. He's another turnover here. Nice pitch ahead. Who was that? Jonathan can't finish. Oh, Caleb trying to back to back.
Dunk everything.
My goodness.
Absolutely trying to dunk everything.
Hey, look, can't block it like you can a layup.
Mm-mm.
That's beautiful stuff. Coach Brandon with another question for us here. What's the probability we see a Dixon-Evans combo, so both Derek Dixon and Kyan Evans, with either Luka, Seth, or Jonathan Powell at the 3? So basically, Derek Dixon and Kyan Evans kind of at the 1-2, switch it around. It doesn't really matter with Luka, Seth, or Powell.
I don't see that being a huge probability just because I see with Luka and Powell, they're going to be on the floor some together. Seth's going to be I think Seth's going to play 35 minutes a game. Not that they can't do that. I think that might be it could be
we just lost Coach there for a second. We'll get Coach is back. Sorry, Coach, you cut out.
If they wanted to go real quick and wanted to press a little bit, I think they could do something like
Yeah, that makes sense. Like an end of game situation. And maybe like end of game, you need some free throws. Yeah, you cut out for just a second. But maybe like an end of game situation where
I think I lost you for a second.
Let me know if you get me back, Coach. I'll keep talking here. End of game where you might have, you've got Seth Trimble, Luka Bogavac, Kyan Evans, who all were plus 80% free throw shooters last year. You add Derek Dixon to that, assuming that he's going to be the same. And in a moment where you're playing down the stretch and getting fouled, those 4 guys together, all on the court together, could be important. But if Dixon is getting the majority of the backup minutes at the 1, you probably aren't going to see a ton of him and Evans out there at the same time. Coach, it looks like maybe you're back there. Are you catching me?
I'm back. Yeah, you lost your second, but I'm good.
Nice. Coach, great question from Andrew Estes here. Andrew, great to see you, brother. Says, is there anything you see that changes your expectations for this team or the individuals? And Coach, I think we could interpret that as for the better or for the worse.
Yeah, no, I think what we talked about earlier, I think this is what our team is. I think you see 5 guys in double figures and Kyan had 9. I think we kind of have a pretty good idea who our top 6 or 7 going to be. Yeah. And I think there's still questions about JB, still questions about Zayden. I think Jaren's going to be in the rotation regardless, just because of his defense and his experience. So I don't think there's a ton of changes. I don't think there's a ton of surprises. I think and there goes Luka again. He's just too good of a shooter not to be in a rotation, and I feel the same way about Jonathan Powell. I think he's just too good. So it's going to be hard for
Jeez, dude.
I know for Jaden Young to get in the rotation is going to be really tough. I think it's going to be tough for Derek Dixon to get in, but I think he played so well the day I was there. I keep talking to you about that. I keep talking to everybody else about it, and I think he will be in the rotation at some point.
That finish we just saw from Caleb, and we had a nice finish from Jonathan Powell over Jaren Stevenson right before that. Coach, is Caleb the guy? Like usually you think of it as a point guard. Is Caleb going to be the guy where it's like end of game, we need a bucket, here you go?
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely got that ability, and you may want to put he and Henry in a kind of a 2-game situation where they play off each other, or you just isolate Caleb and let him go. Henry's not really an isolation guy unless he's got his back to the basket. Sure. He doesn't necessarily love that, but I do think Caleb's a guy you just put him in, give him the ball, and everybody else kind of get out of the way. The old Michael Jordan philosophy, and just allow him to make plays.
You know what I'm excited for with the front court in particular, those two guys and Jaren as well, is I know that Syracuse doesn't play as much zone as they did in the Boeheim era, but they still play enough where I think back to like Kennedy Meeks and Isaiah Hicks just absolutely carving up that zone with big to big passing. I would love to see Henry and Caleb and Jaren do that this season.
No, I think they're good passers. They understand angles and understand timing. And length. That's a big difference between high school and college when you get to the length of guys, and it just changes how you make those passes and where people are open. It's just different than it was in high school. It'll take Caleb maybe a little bit to get used to that, but all three of those guys are excellent passers. They got great hands, can receive passes, and you're right. It'd be a lot of fun to see them play against some zone.
Man. Coach, we're at the last kind of timeout on the floor before they play the last couple of minutes of action here. And so I think it's like 6 or 7 minutes left in the video here before it's all said and done. You talked about Luka and just the shooter he is from that wing three we saw just a second ago. It's funny because I feel like I truly feel like this team is being overlooked nationally. And I think a lot of it is people's unawareness of how all the pieces fit and the roster construction is better than it has been the last couple of years. And there's been questions about who's Carolina's knockdown three-point shooter. And it's like, people, Luka Bogavac has been hitting right at just shy of 40% in the professional leagues in Europe. Kind Evans, over 40% last year. I'm like, either or both of those guys could be two of the best three-point shooters in the entire ACC this year.
Yeah. No, and you got Jonathan Powell as well. And Seth's obviously shot the ball a whole lot better. There's just a ton of abundance of 3-point shooting. I don't think people realize that. And again, you want to see it in real time, real games. You want to see them make that. But I like it. I like when people take you kind of, for granted and don't think of you as being that great. But we know how great that Caleb is going to be. We know Henry's going to be Henry. He's going to be a great addition. And then you put some shooters with that, and then put Seth's ability to run a team. It scares me a little bit. I think how good this team really could be.
Yep. And obviously we're wanting to see those guys that didn't play get back from injury, but it doesn't sound nice. Is that JP out in the corner?
Yeah, look how they shared the ball there. A little bit of penetration, a kick out, extra pass.
Coach, let's run it back. Let's watch that possession again.
Yeah, no, that's just the unselfishness that we're looking for too. And this is a close game. Obviously, we don't know what the score is at this time, but it's got to be close at this time to be able to make a play like that was big for that white team.
And Jaden Young with a nice finish over Jaren a second ago as well at the rim.
Yeah.
So back to Kyan in the wing, up to Henry at the top, around to who was that? Henry with the three. I don't think I went back far enough, Coach. To get that corner three. Let's see if I did. Henry taking the three. That's that same one we just saw.
Yeah.
All right. Luka at the top. Here it is, because it's right after where Luka shoots over Henry at the top. All right.
I think Jaden Young's the one who makes the extra pass, and that's considering
Kyan to Caleb to Jaden. Swings it. That's so okay. Coach, break that down. We had 4 guys touch the ball, 3 passes. What happened?
It's the Caleb Wilson factor because Caleb gets everybody he attracts everybody to the middle of the paint. Now you got two shooters on the perimeter with one defender, and they just make the extra pass. And um, Pal's celebrating a little bit, maybe too long for me in the corner right now, but I understand it's not a game. But they inbound the ball while he's celebrating it. But the absolute thing I love and you don't really see this right now, but when he shoots that ball, both Henry and Caleb are on weak side. Offensive rebound. They're waiting for that ball to come off the opposite side. And depending on who you talk to, it's 68, 70%, whatever, of shots that are point shots, come off the opposite side. So they're both sitting there waiting for it. So if this ball does miss, they're sitting there waiting for it. So I think this is just a perfect possession.
Okay, Coach, I backed it up so we could see it again. Here's Kyan on the wing. Yeah. So folks, don't watch the top of the screen. Don't watch the Jaden Young fake and then the pass to Jonathan Powell in the corner. Watch on the other side of the rim with both Caleb Wilson and Henri Veesaar, as Coach is pointing out here, because this is Coach is educating you on how to be a better basketball watcher. So watch Henry, watch Caleb sitting right there.
And they're both there.
Yeah. It's just them and Zayden high in the paint. Either of them would have got that rebound coming off.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Zayden at the top of the key, around to Luka on the wing. Got Caleb guarding him, which is interesting that he's like, all right, I got you, Caleb Wilson. James Brown now up to Seth. Seth driving with Kine on him. Henry walling that off. Luka shooting over Jonathan Powell. Nice rebound from Jaden Young in traffic. Kine going to bring it up. Coach, one thing we haven't talked about is not many subs in this game. How tired is everybody?
I think there's a lot of, because it's not typical. You don't get a typical halftime either.
Right.
And there's not a ton of fouls being called. There's not a ton of physicality. So they're worn out right now. Not a whole lot of subs. The intensity's almost dropped. You can tell it's dropped a little bit here too defensively. And that's why you don't play 220. Like people say, well, why didn't you play 20-minute halves? Make it like a full game. Well, you got 6 guys on one team, 7 on the other. I think if they had all 16 guys available and played 8 guys, maybe they would have played a little bit longer. Maybe it would have been 15-minute halves. But I think that was the right thing to do.
Yep. Henry just coming in like a bull in a china shop off the Wilson miss there. Yeah, Coach, I think you're absolutely right. And you also, I think we're seeing what we often see in these moments is guys just starting to settle for some threes they wouldn't in a normal flow of the game. Defenders not closing out on them. We saw that wide open Veesaar wing 3 possession ago. And so you're spot on here. We're going to have White sideline out about a little slob here.
Yeah, again, nothing fancy, just getting the ball in bounds.
Just a little screen.
Yeah, just getting started.
Kine coming down the lane. I want to see a lob to Henry there, but a kick out.
That was the right decision. The defense had kind of taken a lob away.
Absolutely.
But you got to make that shot. That shot's wide open. And that's what I love about Kine. Just such great hands. Yeah.
How tough is that to do without fouling, Coach, when you're retreating on transition?
It's super hard. RJ was so good at it, but it's really difficult to do that. But that's what Kine's got, great hands. So
throw that up.
Yeah.
Higher.
Here's the tempo too. You can see the white team's got to have a lead because they're much more patient, not trying to run too fast. Blues playing with a little bit more sense of urgency. That's too good of a look.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ball bouncing around.
There's the rebound. There's the rebound we're talking about.
Yep.
Just and now there's fouls because.
Yep. In the game scenario.
But I think they haven't called any fouls, so they have to foul, I think, 3 times or something just to be able to get to a 1-on-1.
Yep, down to 21 seconds here on the clock.
Yeah, I think they have to foul at least 2 more times. But again, this is what we talked about a couple shows ago, just the amount of free throw shooting available, guys who shoot 80, 90%. It's not unusual at all with this squad. So
there's another foul from Zayden.
Yeah.
Coach, here's a question. Cole just said Seth has to hit those threes this season. Again, part of it right there is end of this moment, not many subs, you're exhausted. How important is it to take those threes versus making those threes?
Yeah, I totally agree with Cole. He has to make those. He's a senior, he's a leader. He's going to be asked to step up and shoot those threes. He's got to be able to make that. Seth's also the type of guy, he should not be tired. He's a guy that can run all day. He's got, his ability to run all day, I would think he could probably run more than anybody at this point. But those are as Joe Holiday used to say, when the lights are on, who wants that shot? Who wants to take that shot? You mentioned Dante Calabria. Dante was like that. Dante loved the lights, and he always wanted to take that big, tough shot. So who's that going to be with this group? If it's not Caleb, if they take him out of the equation, or if there's a foul trouble and he's out of the game, who's going to make that big shot late? Is it going to be Seth? Is it going to be Luka? Could it be Jonathan Powell? Who knows? But that's a big question. Maybe it's Kyan Evans. He's going to be in the game late.
Yep.
So he's going to make these big free throws.
Coach Lebo calls a timeout there. And yeah, I'm watching end of game free throws in moments like this, Coach. Like, I know it's a scrimmage. I know it's an intra-squad scrimmage. I love to see Kyan burying that right there.
Yeah.
Step up, cool as the other side of the pillow, as we used to hear. And that's good. T-Man, what's up? T-Man says, one of my biggest takeaways from this scrimmage is that Luka is not, all caps, afraid to shoot. He's going to be a very big scorer for us. Coach, when the opposition knows that, they got to come out on him. And then you're leaving Caleb Wilson open. You're leaving Kyan Evans open. You're leaving Seth driving. I mean, it's just, we talked about it earlier. It's a pick your poison with this team. I really believe it.
And they may put a worse defender on him and just not help, which is another strategy to use, and just not let him touch it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna leave huge gaping holes to be able to get to the rim, because everybody's locked in with him, and they're just not going to let him catch and shoot. One of the other things I do like about this, with Coach Lebo calling a timeout, that this also gives us assistant time to be head coaches and to coach this. Let's coach this like a real game. And I think the same thing there. Coach Lebo's treating this like, what would we do in a real game? Let's call the timeout. Let's talk about our philosophy and what we want to do in a situation like this.
Nice rebound from Caleb there. They're just going to let it run out.
He's a beast.
Wow. All right, Coach. So that brings us to the end of the game there. A lot of fun. Great stuff from the guys. Again, big thanks to TarHeel247 for getting that full game up on YouTube and being able to watch it. Coach, you and I will talk later in the week on our regular Thursday show, so folks stay tuned for that. But I'll do some takeaways on Monday's full show. But Coach, any other things that you just want to make sure to say right here in the moment of having us just watched it?
Yeah, the turnovers it just too sloppy. We got to get that cleaned up, and those are fixable things. The ability to make shots is encouraging to me. 5 guys in double figures throughout the game, 1 with 9. I think you see who's going to get your shots, who's going to make plays. So it's encouraging to see how well they played, how competitive they played. And I think the Cherokee game, I'd like to see them clean up some of those mistakes and see how things progress here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking for, I'd really, we said it right out of the gate, really hope Derek Dixon's able to go in that one. And I imagine it's probably the type of situation where if this was an ACC game, we'd probably see those guys, but there's no point in playing him in a moment like this. And so I'm very hopeful we see him, see how that cleans it up, and see how that scrimmage is different from this one and everything we saw there. Coach, any final parting words?
I'd like to see everybody healthy. Not just Derek, but to see Isaiah and Ivan as well. Just I want to see everybody together. See everybody, all the pieces. We're fighting with the same thing. We've got 2 guys that have not practiced yet, and you're just constantly want to see everybody together, so you know exactly what you have. So it just allows you to make better decisions moving forward.
Coach, we got a little Johnson City reference here. Jeffrey Polly says, love those Pals hot dogs and fries, Coach Rob. I mean, come on.
Absolutely thinking about doing Pals tonight. I was thinking that my wife's out of town, and but it's kind of a Sunday night tradition for us anyway. I think I'll just keep it. And Pals,
PTT, are you a PTT guy?
I'm a big Pals guy with the large Frenchie fry and a raspberry tea, Razzie tea. That's about as good as you can get. So
the seasoning on the fries is next level.
Yeah, it's a great Sunday night tradition for sure.
Oh man, I'm jealous. I wish I could do it. I want to thank, and Coach Rob wants to thank all of you guys for being locked in with us. This was a lot of fun to get to do, and to get to hear Coach. Just here's what Coach is seeing and thinking. And so we'll definitely try to run this back again after the Cherokee scrimmage. We'll find a time. Go ahead, Coach.
Can I give one plug? November 7th, the Kansas game. We've got a scheduled book signing at Alumni Hall the day of the Kansas game. So I want to, every time we get a chance to talk about that, I want to, the book goes, it's a burden of love for me. It's been something it was brutal getting through it, but I'm glad I did it. And with the self-publishing and stuff, I got to push it a little bit when I can, but it's been a lot of fun. And just to be able to get that done and give some copies to Hubert and to Coach Williams was a wonderful experience.
Coach, do we already have the hours on that book signing?
I don't. I'm hoping it's a mid-afternoon, so I don't have to get up too early and still be able to get a chance to go to the game that night. I think we're gonna try to practice early that morning too, so I don't miss a full day. But we're off that weekend. We have some recruits coming in that weekend, but we don't play that Saturday, so it fit in perfectly to our schedule.
And I'm looking at the schedule. There is not an announced tip time for the game yet. Got to imagine it'll be either 7 or 9 Eastern there, and so we'll keep our eyes on that. Going to be electric, the return game. And it's funny because, and we'll obviously talk about this more when we get there, but that Kansas team feels like they're very similar to what they've been going through, to what Carolina has been going through, not living up to Kansas standards lately. A team that last year was preseason #1 and frankly stunk it up. They have been outside the top 3 in the Big 12 back-to-back years for the first time since 82 and 83. Coach, I mean, it's crazy. I went back and looked. We actually just recorded, and I'll plug Locked On College Basketball. Tomorrow, Monday's Locked On College Basketball is the Kansas team preview. Coach, never in the history of the Kansas basketball program, and I went all the way back to Naismith on this, I crap you not, have they ever finished outside the top 3 straight years in conference play. So they're trying to figure themselves out as well, and I think that's going to be a really telling basketball game.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and I think the town's going to be electric that night, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Darren Peterson is a dude, you guys. If you've not watched him play, that's going to be a lot of fun seeing him and Caleb Wilson go at it. Darren Peterson, obviously a guard. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with Coach and I on a Sunday afternoon. Been great to do this. For those of you listening, thanks for tuning in. And we're going to get this out on the audio. We will have a regular Monday show. I'll do some other takeaways. We'll do our weekend whip around, talk some football as well, and that will be great stuff. Remember, no football game this week, another off week before Carolina is at Cal next Friday night. You all, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. Again, we'll talk again tomorrow, but until then, peace.